Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Fighter's Advice interview with undefeated UFC featherweight Hyder Amil. Hyder was a serial street fighter as a kid, so he brings us back to his street fighting days and tells us some crazy stories. He also talks about what it's like training with Nick and Nate Diaz, as well as what the lifestyle of an MMA fighter really is like and how he handles the daily grind. So I hope you guys enjoy Hyder's Fighter's Advice. Let's get into it. I'm joined today by undefeated UFC featherweight Hyder Amil. Hyder is coming off a crazy standing knockout win achieved via 38 punch combo. Crazy. So Hyder, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. How are you feeling for this fight week?
I'm feeling really good. I'm excited to fight and show everyone what I can do. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do out there. I just know I'm going to do something exciting.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Do you enjoy fighting in Vegas?
I do, but I thought I do want to get out of the Apex, honestly, because I miss fighting in front of people, especially to win and having a big crowd there. I used to fight here on Bellator at the SAP Center, and I would bring a big crowd, and it was just lit, and I get it popping up in there, so I can't wait till I want to earn an arena this fight, and if I have to make William Gomis' head explode to do it, I'm gonna do that.
I love to hear that. If you could choose like one venue, dream venue for you to fight at, where would you pick?
Um, I would do the Chase Center here in the Bay Area. I want to bring the UFC to San Francisco, the Bay Area. These are my people. I represent the Philippines, and I represent the Bay Area. So I was born in the Philippines. That's like the mother who raised me. Bay Area is like sorry, the Philippines is like the mother who birthed me, and the Bay Area is like the mother who raised me. So if I bring that to the Chase Center, I 100% guarantee it's gonna get crazy.
That would be fire. Yeah, hometown crowd. That'd be the dream.
hmm
Yeah, that's super nice. So, big fight this weekend against William Gomis. How was your fight camp?
It was great. It was a long fight camp. Like found out like 3 months ago. I'm like, oh my God. So I've been in camp for a while. So and I know he has to be ready. And I'm always training, so it's really like not that big a deal. I just the intensity just picks up a little bit more.
Right, okay. What do you do for like preparing for each individual opponent? Like, do you watch tape? Do you bring in like similar style training partners?
I well both. You definitely have to watch tape. You get a breakdown, and it kind of helps. You have a strategy, in terms of what I'm gonna do with him, his strengths, weaknesses, all that. And I get the right training partners as well throughout. And with him, it's pretty straightforward what he does. So and just having the right training partners he does. He does have a few things that being a tall southpaw who moves a lot. Finding south kickboxers and guys who can emulate his style was I found a few guys like that who do it really well, and so I got and training with a bunch of very high level guys, so pretty excited.
No, that sounds great. Do you have any pre-fight rituals?
Mm, yeah, I mean, no, I just do like a shakeout breakfast, and I just take a nap. What I do, I always put on some Bay Area music. I don't know if you're familiar with the music here in the Bay Area, especially the older stuff from the 2010s and stuff like that, the hyphy movement. It's just stuff that reminds me of when I was younger and when I was coming up and being like a little street fighter, and it always puts me back in that mode and it's like kill or be killed. So and also makes me nice and loose, and that's why every fight I dance into the cage and I dance out of the cage.
I love that. I'm glad you brought up your street fighting past. I wanted to ask if you have any like crazy street fight stories you can tell us.
I have more crazy street fight stories than so many people. I don't even know where to. I've been in a fight in a moving car, in an elevator, in a kid. I've been in every race, every weight class, every damn near every living room, wherever you can imagine someone can fight someone. I've probably done it, and people come up to me because of the UFC, and they remind me. I have so many street fights. I don't remember them all, and people come up to me like, "Oh, I remember when you had someone's head in the fridge and banging it, and like yeah, crazy stories." Or when I fought like a grown adult when I was like a teenager. I'm like, guys, like, yeah, I remember when you were 16, you knocked out this. adult at the mall, and I'm like, "How'd you know I was 16?" And he's like, "Well, after you knocked him out, you said, how's it feel to get knocked out by a 16-year-old, you know?" And yeah, let me think. I don't know where to start. I've been in fights. Oh, here's one. Here's one. I just drove by. So I was in Oakland the other day. Oakland, California, shout out. And I remember coming home from the bus with my girlfriend. And at the time, I think a lot of my fights happen because, like sometimes I have a really pretty girlfriend and like guys want to try to punk me and stuff like that. And this is kind of what happened, So, um, and so this guy's trying to punk me, trying to make me look bad in front of my girlfriend. And some big dude, like big athletic dude, and it was like midnight in Oakland. We just got out of I forgot where we got out of, and this guy was trying to fight me, and we did, and we got into it because I wasn't trying to back down, and at the time I wasn't even training, and he was way bigger than me, and we had a fight with a crackhead as our referee in front of a bunch of bum in the middle of the night, and it was one of the hardest fights because it's a hard fight when it's a big dude and he starts popping jabs, and I did a single leg takedown. He does, takedown defense. He knows how to work my shirt to make me not move. Anyway, we fought for a while, and we fought in the middle of the street, and I ended up whooping his ass, and then the crackhead raised my hand at the end of the fight, and all these dudes around there were like, "That's the craziest, best fight they've ever seen." So, and if people in Oakland, especially dudes like that in Oakland, are saying that's the best fight they've ever seen, they've seen a bunch of fights. So that was probably the one of the hardest, best fights I've ever
That is so crazy.
had.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's hilarious.
I
So
don't, yeah.
that's so funny. So with all this fighting experience, like, do you get nervous for fights now? Do you feel like this is just normal?
Um, I don't know. I don't know if I get that nervous, honestly. Before I kind of did, because I didn't know what I had in me. Now especially my last one, I feel like I can do anything in there. Like no one's ever seen a 38 combo, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I write my opponent off is not that good or whatever." But I'm like, there's a reason you've never seen it because there's only one man that who can pull that off, and that's fucking me. Sorry. And my opponent is very, very tough, the guy I did that to. And so I want to show everyone that there isn't no fluke. And a lot of people think I don't hit hard, but if they see it because I hit him a lot of times and he took him, but he was moving and stuff. But I also wasn't dumping all my power. The reason is I threw a combo and I opened up to throw a power shot and he countered me. So what I did, I was like, okay, next time you rattle him, just keep it coming back to back and keep your elbows high. So when he tries to look for the counter, he hits your arms. And so I just kept throwing it nonstop like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know I threw that many punches. I thought I threw 10 punches. And when they told me after, I was surprised because I wasn't even tired. I wasn't even breathless. If you hear the microphone, I wasn't even breathing hard. So my other fights, I've been laying people out, even bigger guys. So for me, fighting William Gomis, who's a 6 foot tall dude, who's big for the weight class. I fought a guy with a similar style before, who was actually Alex Perez's training partner, who was an undefeated kickboxer, and it didn't end too well for that guy. And I'm gonna do the same this Saturday.
Fire, I love to hear that. So, how do you see the fight ending? Are we gonna get to see a 50 punch combo this time?
um, You know what? For him, a guy southpaw like that, he's gonna go into my power hand, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna knock him out, TKO him. I don't know. At this point, I don't know how I'm gonna win. Even if it's a tooth and nail bloody war, I'm ready for whatever, dude. Because I've been through everything. Besides street fights, my MMA fights, fighting with a broken rib. I did my contender fight with food poisoning. I've fought through everything, so bring it on, man. However I gotta win, it's gonna happen.
Right. That also reminds me, you mentioned in a previous interview that you feel like your biggest strength is your ability to make adjustments on the fly. How do you feel like that? How do you feel like you developed that skill set? And like, I can only imagine it helps you feel more confident when you go into the cage.
I've been once I tell like my life story and a bunch of things. I've been through. I want look. There's people who've been through more than me, but I've gone through a lot of different kinds of life experiences and stuff where I had to survive and things where I had to think on my feet. But also I've also stimulated my brain. Also, a lot of people don't know I'm an artist, so I can like I'm very creative and strategic in that manner, and I feel like genius happens in the moment, and I feel like one of my adjustments is I'm good at doing adjustments because I have really good fighting instinct. That's what a lot of my head coach tells me, that I have really good fighting instinct, and it's just something, just part of me. It's like I didn't think about doing a 38 combo. Sometimes you don't do what's textbook correct, you do what's necessary, and so I think that's me having just kind of like this affinity with MMA, being in so many fights. It's easy to think on the fly for me, and I'm very calm in there. Fighting for me, what's the hardest part about fighting? These weight cuts. If it wasn't for the weight cuts, I'd fight every week. I'm gonna be honest, but um, yeah, I'm more nervous about the weight cut than I am about the fight. Not I'm sleeping on it. I take it very 100% seriously, but it does no favors to be worried about no anyone. Anyway,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm really glad that you brought up how you're an artist because I wanted to ask you a question about how you see MMA. Do you see MMA as kind of like an art form where technique and strategy play a critical role, or do you see it as more of just like an expression of violence?
probably a little bit of both. I originally got into MMA because it's like it's martial art. The art part is your fling on how you do the skills and techniques, and I've always been like I actually got pushed into athletics because people in school thought saw that I was a pretty good athlete, and that's actually what got me into fighting. I never really got into like wrestling and football if it wasn't for everyone in school. And so MMA is kind of a mixture of art and sports to me. And it was also an out in MMA, it gave me everything. It allowed me to protect my sisters and my mom and defend them. And so it gave me confidence. It empowered me. It gave me respect. Shoot, it gave me an education. I used my fight money to get a college degree. So MMA has given me everything.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. What kind of things do you do to like keep in touch with your creative side now? Like, do you actively make art these days?
I wish I had time to do that. I actually did a post on one of my the things I made, because I showed a few people that are like, "What the heck?" They never even knew that about me. And there's a lot of things a lot of people don't know about me, but one of them is that. And I'm like, I'm not like one of those guys who are like, "Oh, this is what I do." It's just something I'm just good at. So. But yeah, I wish I had more time. I think the only thing I do is my friends' kids, or there's kids. I'm like, all right, tell me what you want me to draw. Anything as crazy as you want, and I'll just draw it right in front of them, and just give it to the kid.
Oh, that sounds so fun. Yeah, well, when you ever get the chance to, when you have some more time and can do more art, you should definitely be posting some of it. I loved the one you posted that was like a throwback.
Oh, you
You're
saw
super
that one?
talented. Yeah, of
I
course.
appreciate that. Thank you. I literally like that one because it was just from like a few pieces, like five markers, and I just made from the top of my head. So I really like that piece because of that.
Yeah. No, that was super beautiful.
Appreciate it.
So I want to go back to another thing you mentioned, kind of in like the origin of like what brought you to MMA. So you shared that you were like bullied and discriminated against as a kid, particularly being a Muslim in the Philippines. So how did these experiences shape your desire to pursue martial arts as a means of self-defense, and how did they influence your journey in MMA?
You know what? Maybe no one really like was like, "Oh, you're Muslim," and hated on me. I was just different. That's what I meant by that to people. I lived in the last house of a third world slum of a dirt road. And everyone there was like, I mean, poor there is, let's put it this way. When I came to the hood in the US, I thought I made it. That's how poor it is over there. And I was very fair skinned because my dad's Middle Eastern and European, other stuff, whatever. And so when I was there at the last house, they thought I had money, and we were just like probably middle class. And so I just stuck out, and I also couldn't eat pork, so everyone and I spoke English, so I was like a target. I just stuck out. So people, anytime you're anywhere and you stick out, you're always going to be a target. I don't care what hood you are, where you are in the world. If you're just different, that's just what happens. And so that's how it developed. And my dad was kind of a hard ass, and I remember these kids. This is the one story I tell everyone about, kind of where it started. Is all the kids threw rocks at me, and I came back home, and I was bleeding and bruised all over my body. And my dad was like, "What happened to you?" And I told him what happened, and he's like, "And you ran away?" And he's like, and I told him yes. And so he showed me how to make a fist. And he's like, "Never run away again, or else you're a coward, and that's the worst thing you could be in this life." And ever since then, that stuck with me. Ever since I was 6 to, I guess now. And I've never ran away since. I've ran away when like 20 people trying to jump me, but 3 people, 2 people, I fought. I'm down.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
wow.
how it impacted me.
Wow. Kids
Yeah,
can be so cruel.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
wow. Yeah, so another reason that you've talked about for starting MMA is to protect the woman in your family. So I wanted
hmm
to ask your opinion on, do you think every man should learn how to protect himself and his loved ones, like similar to how Habib has talked about like honor and like the importance of strength and honor? What's your take on that?
I absolutely believe so. And biologically, a man is there to protect and provide. And with my sisters, just seeing guys in the neighborhood, my mom's boyfriend, sister's boyfriends, either disrespecting them, taking stuff from them, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't let that happen, especially after my dad, how much of an a-hole my dad was. So I grew very overprotective over them. I also didn't want my sisters to, since my dad wasn't around, to grow up like the quote unquote, "oh, your dad wasn't around" type of woman, and have that insecurity. So I was hyper aggressive in terms of defending them. And also once you start, I love my sisters and my mom so much. They've done everything for me. They've got me out of trouble. They've done cooked me food, like everything. So for them, whatever's mine is theirs. Whatever's theirs is theirs. That's what I always tell everyone. They've done so much for me, and man, I couldn't. If anyone even raised their voice at my sister or done anything to him, I always found that guy and just made sure he was dealt with.
Wow, that's really
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. But
Yes.
also, yeah, I think every man should learn martial arts. I think every woman should learn to protect themselves and empower themselves so they walk around with a different confidence. But also, once you learn martial arts control, the training, you're gonna go against people who will humble you to be more disciplined. And yeah, I think every man should learn how to do that to protect their family. Can't imagine a woman be like, "Oh, you're something happens and dad can't protect her family." It's just like, "Oh my God, what kind of man are you?" But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think kids should learn my main thing is I train jujitsu. I don't like to get hit in the face, but I think jujitsu is so great for kids and for everyone for that reason. And
Mhm.
a bit of a follow-up question. Do you think that like women looking to learn martial arts for like self-defense purposes, what kind of martial art would you recommend that they start with?
Jiu-jitsu is probably the best in terms of learning how to fight a bigger person. Also, when you know ground stuff, what I love is like introducing a guy because I have my own gym or to a class and then having them go against someone smaller, some or a girl, even having see that and be completely humble and being like, "Oh my God, I thought I could beat her up just because I'm bigger and stronger than you." And I'm pretty sure you've done this also, choke them out and stuff like that. And I think if a woman learns jiu-jitsu, to supplement that with boxing and something like that, or kickboxing, so they know how to block and deliver powerful blows. One thing I'm always with my gym, I always do free women self-defense because of my sisters and mom. I'm really big in making sure the women in our community and I empower them and that my gym is there to help everyone in the community, not just people who want to fight, but women who are looking for empowerment.
Wow, that's really amazing that you do that. And yeah, I completely agree. I love the moment when like a trial guy comes in. And also there's a statistic somewhere out there that says that like men, I might be butchering this, but men in general overestimate their ability to fight by like 4,000%. So I love like kind of playing the role of like showing that jujitsu works, and like being able to like gently show a gentle triangle choke, that's not too brutal, but like be like,
Right.
yeah, I caught you, and you have to submit, and you have to like think about, you know, how this works and how you can
Get
like
an
just
ego check also.
exactly. But it also kind of shows like the strength isn't everything, and you need technique, and that's like a great like first thing for people to realize when they start a martial art, I think.
I 100%, 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to shift gears here a little bit and talk about the lifestyle of being an MMA fighter. So it requires like a lot of sacrifice and like a disciplined lifestyle to be an MMA fighter. So what part of the lifestyle do you find to be the most challenging, and how do you like keep balance in your life when you're trying to like pursue your dreams of being an MMA fighter?
Dude, the hardest part, like Muhammad Ali says, it's not the training, it's staying away from the clubs and having fun and toxic people and stuff like that. I'm a very fun-loving guy. I'm not gonna lie. I just at the time it's like it shows in the way I fight. I just like the excitement and stuff like that. And the way I kind of combat that is surrounding yourself with people who live a healthy lifestyle, keep you in check. I have my business partner is like my best friend, and he watches my back like no one's business. I need to get someone call me. He's like he keeps me in check about going out. Um, yeah, so I owe a lot to him, and also since I coach these guys in my gym and fighters, honestly, that's probably one of the biggest parts of it because I have to show up for them. I have to give them my all, and it gives, a lot of times with fighters, and you may have heard this before, is when we don't have a fight, and this used to happen for me, is like I feel purposeless. And that's when
Hmm.
they want to drink and party. That's when they want to go do stuff. And yeah, so it's like a community thing and having people around you and even the youngsters. So as much as I do for them, they do a lot for me, and I'm very thankful for them.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine being like taking on a bit of a role model kind of position in your gym would play a big make a big impact on that kind of thing. But that does kind of lead into my next question here about for young fighters that want to follow in your footsteps and pursue a career in MMA, what kind of advice would you give them?
Just know that you have to be good at multiple disciplines, that you have to be self-disciplined, and it's going to take a lot of work. And I'm talking about you're gonna have to make sacrifice. You're gonna make work. There's gonna be a bunch of speed bumps. People saying, trying to bring you down. But like I tell people, once you've made up your mind what you're gonna do, and you need to make up your mind what you're gonna do, whether you're gonna do this, you're a ship that sailed the dock. And no matter what happens, wind, current, whatever, metaphorically speaking, you stay the course and you keep going until you arrive. Um, Through that journey, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, what you like, what you're good at, and whether you become a great MMA fighter or not, the characteristics you will build from being self-disciplined, from everything from diet, from conditioning, from mental obstacles, dealing with the pressure in MMA fight. Oh my God, like I tell my youngsters, you take those skills into another industry, you're gonna be very successful.
That's such a good point. Yeah. I think a lot of people have like a misjudgment about fighters, but if you really like take a deep look at the lifestyle of a fighter, it's exactly as you said. You see the most discipline, you see the most hardworking, because you won't make it otherwise. You have to want it more than everyone else.
To be good at Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, to be explosive, strong, to have endurance, you know how much work it takes. And if you want to get to this level, like I show some of the guys my conditioning routine, and they're like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I train like that, and then I go back at night and I train another 2, 3 hours, and that's me not in camp." Like the amount of training I do, I compare it to Michael Phelps's routine, and Olympic training. And that's just the standard. You gotta have the standard of conditioning training. That's one thing I tell all my youngsters. I tell them that is the standard I want you to have. And I don't have them do exactly what I do, but they do a lot. And that's what is gonna create them as a human being and as a person, having their standard as an athlete, a standard of how they take care of themselves, and respect others.
Yeah, they might hate you a little bit right now for it or in the moment, but you're doing what's best for them for sure.
Yeah, that's why I always tell them too. I'm like, you're gonna hate me now, but you're gonna be so damn thankful that I was in your life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I want to bring it back a little bit to training with legends like Nick and Nate Diaz. Do you have any funny or memorable moments from Um, training with them and the Scrap Pack guys?
Yeah, hmm. No, I just have funny stories from other stuff, but it's training with them is just amazing. They have such, experience in the game and fought so many legendary fights. My head coach Gilbert has fought for the title. He's been up there. Nick and Nate, Jake Shields, Dave Terrell. Just learning from all these greats and having a little bit of their style kind of create me. Like a bunch of punches. Nick and Nate Diaz. I get that from them. Going to train with them. Like it's crazy going to their gyms and boxing gyms, like 200 people there. It's wild, I mean, this guy just boxing each other for like 8 rounds straight. But yeah, I don't really have like a super crazy funny story. We just train so hard and train all the time that I think all the crazy story comes from the other stuff. But that later.
Yeah, no, I get that. Has Nick taught you his infamous Gogo Flata?
No, he hasn't. I haven't seen him in a while, honestly. I know he's going through it a little bit, but no, he hasn't. Nick and Nate showed me like, because I asked him questions. Hey, I'm fighting this like karate guy. How do I deal with it? And they give me like seriously some of the most awesome, realist MMA advice ever. So yeah, the funny stuff with Nick and Nate is when they clown on certain people, and it's freaking hilarious. So that's the funniest part with them when people run their mouth a little bit and they just bag on them, and it just like has you in tears. So those are the good parts about being around Nick and Nate.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, the stuff that gets caught on film is hilarious, but behind closed doors, like it must be so funny. Yeah. So training under legends like the Diaz brothers and Gilbert Melendez, as you've already mentioned, do you feel like you have a significant edge in grappling for your upcoming fight?
I I think I have the edge everywhere, honestly, and I think he has the edge on reach. That's it. Versatile striking, power, everything goes to me. He's a really good kicker. I might say he may be better or around as good as me at kicking. I'm not trying to play a kicking game with him, and try to find out who's a better Taekwondo guy or whatever he does. Um, but grappling and wrestling, just from his last fight, I don't care if he's wrestled for 2 years, went to Dagestan, he's not going to be a better grappler or wrestler than me. But yeah, being around uh, those guys, you just have one, the ability to just scrap, two, good jiu-jitsu, three, endurance. Because everyone on our team has really good endurance.
Yeah, definitely. And I imagine surrounding yourself with those kinds of people just contributes to like your well-roundedness as well. Like you've mentioned, taking bits and pieces from everyone's style, so that's super amazing. Yeah, super cool. So, you have a reputation among MMA fans of being like such an exciting fighter, like a can't miss fighter. You got to tune in to those cards. So what impact do you want to make on the fans as a fighter, as well as what kind of legacy do you want to leave in the UFC?
One, I want to be the first Filipino UFC champion. I don't think there's even been an Asian male champion. I want to be a record for that. I think I'm the only Filipino-born UFC fighter right now, ever. The first. Someone just messaged me that there and or posted that, and I never even thought about that. But I do want to be go down as one of the greats, you know. I want to hopefully be multiple belt holder. I have high aspirations in terms of what I want to do, and but I also want to be known as a guy who's like, you know, has great fights, some legendary fights. I look forward to the beef. I look forward to every part of the of fighting and the wars. I'm down for every part of it. So, but I definitely want to be in the record books, you know, and yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited for you to get a bit more recognition from the fans because I know that they're gonna love you and get some scrappier fighters, main events. It's gonna be
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for meeting with me today and best of luck with your fight coming up on Saturday.
All right, tune in and put some money on me, okay?
For sure, will do. All right,
Okay,
thank
thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much.
Take care.
Okay, bye.